This is a great time to be here. To all of you who are following the channel, I'm a counselor and I continue to give the mental health insights. And as many of you keep asking, counselor, we keep seeing you all the time. We want to see a new face. But I just can't bring any new face. I have to bring stuff that really inspire you, help you move forward in a positive way. Things that have counseling related stuff. And today, it is an honor to be here with my brother. Man, I just don't know. I'm so happy. I've never been this happy, but I'm so excited to be here with you, my brother. I don't know if you can guess who this is. Pretty sure your face is very familiar in Ginger here, but it's none other than my brother, David Mwesigwa. We're here in studio, 92.1 OP FM. So we're here with my brother. I just don't want to say a lot before I just give him a chance to introduce himself. I know a lot about him, but we want to hear from him, introduce himself the best way that he can express himself.
Thank you so much, my brother Augustine. And my name is David Mwesigwa. I am a counselor by profession. I work with Harvest International School in Kampala and other schools here in Jinja. I'm also a journalist. I do journalism, so I work with a radio station, and I also do writing online. I'm married. I married to Susie Mwesigwa, and together we have 2 children. We have a new arrival. We have our first son, Kirk David Mwesigwa, and so about almost a month ago, on the 10th of last month, April, we received another gift from God, and that's Janelle Abigail Mwesigwa. So I'm happy to be here today to talk about things that I'm so passionate about.
Yeah, really. So good to hear that introduction about you. He's a fellow counselor. We've been together in school, and
Yes.
we've been following up on each other's stuff. And like I said, if I bring somebody, God has really led me to this person. And your son Kirk, I see him. He's moving in the right direction.
Thank you.
He's a journalist. He loves sports, and he's a pastor and leading Worship Harvest Kakira.
That's it. I think it's one thing I hadn't talked about.
Yeah.
I am a pastor under Worship Harvest Ministries, so I'm leading Worship Harvest Kakira. And I also love sports. I own a football club. It's called Good News Football Club, which is doing sports evangelism. So it's not just a football club, it's an evangelistic tool. So you're using sports to transform lives, and we have over 60 young people directly under that Good News program. We are playing in the 4th division in Jinja.
Wow.
And the last time I checked today, the team was in 7th position, but just about 6 points away from the top 4. So they're doing a good job. So that's also my other part. I love sport, and so I decided to use it to glorify God, to spread the gospel.
Amen. And thank you for the incredible work that you do. Something that we share in common. We all love young people.
Yes.
And we love Jesus.
Yes.
And we spread the gospel.
Yes.
In whatever possible way. Before we proceed, our condolences to you, my brother, about your father. I know we're going to talk about a lot of stuff, particularly some of the things that inspired you in writing this book that we're going to talk about. We as Flexible, we just sad about what happened, but there was a book here. This book, I've read this book, just remaining with 10 pages to finish the book since I got the book.
Yes.
But it has a lot of insights. My boys have been singing this They want me to finish so they can read.
Uh-huh.
I have a 14-year-old boy, so he wants to read this book.
Mm.
The book is called Connected but Alone. Connected but Alone. So we are going to hear from David just saying what we need to know about connected but alone. In just like as an introduction,
Yes.
what would you say about connected but alone? This book here.
Yeah, well, the first thing I want to say about Connected But Alone is that it's a book I wrote. I'm the author, and I published it last year in December, and it's uncovering the hidden dangers of social media on mental health. So, in a nutshell, that's what I can say. That this is a book that will show you the subtle um, things that might affect your mental health if you are not taking them into consideration using social media. So it has a lot in there, how addiction works, social media addiction in particular, talk about how to deal with the social media addiction, um, and the extent of the problem, how the problem has escalated. Yeah, and this is a good thing. Social media is a good thing, but I think the benefits are more obvious than the challenges therein. So I decided to go the other way to show you what you might not be aware about. Because with social media, the problem is that with other businesses, there is a product, but with social media, you are the product. So
Me,
yeah, you're the user.
not the phone.
No, you are the product.
Me.
Because social media companies are fighting for subscribers, and they are using scientists staying hours in the laboratories to come up with apps. But the task that these scientists have and psychologists is to make sure that they make an app that will make you stick and glue to it, because the more you use it is the more they're earning money. So they're earning money on you. So the more you spend time on social media, the more the social media companies are earning money. So they particularly use the same procedure that you could use to make someone get addicted, because there is such a thing as social media addiction. So they use the same thing. There is a cue, like if you read from the book Atomic Habits, there is what we call a cue, like that bang on your phone is a cue. It enlists a response from you. If
Every time
you hear a beep,
yeah,
it's a cue.
yeah.
Then you respond a certain way. If you don't respond in a way, okay, if you responded, the next step would be a reward. So you have a cue, you have a response, and then a reward. If the reward does not make you satisfied, you won't pay attention to that cue again. If you get the reward, then you go to the other part of it, which will make you again go back over the situation, and perhaps you get addicted in that sense. So it's basically about uncovering the hidden dangers of social media mental health.
Uncovering the hidden dangers. Are there dangers that are not hidden?
Yeah, there are some dangers that are not hidden, whereas most of the dangers on social media are actually hidden. The people that are landing in these problems actually don't have an idea what they're entering into. Yeah, for example, if I told you that young people, especially teenagers, are the most affected by social media, most of them don't know. That's why the biggest users of social media are actually young people.
And I saw that in your research actually.
Yeah, they are not aware. So it's a subtle thing. Even the parents don't know. That's why I call them hidden dangers. The parents have protected their children so much in the real world, the physical world, and they've protected them less on social media or online. So you'd find that a parent would react very quickly about what a child is doing in this physical world, where they are, the time they are coming home, whom they are talking to in the physical world, but they have no idea what their young people are doing online. So we overprotect them in the physical world and let's protect them online. And so we don't even know what they are going through. I'll tell you, for example, that teenagers that use social media more than 4 hours a day have reported, 70% of them have reported suicidal tendencies. They have, in once in a lifetime or in their world, they are thinking about ending their own lives. And social media is not the only contributor, but it's one of the biggest contributors of some of these things. And that's why we are saying, okay, we're not demonizing social media, because actually social media has some benefits. Right now, as I talk, we're using social media platforms to reach out to the people. But then we are just saying, can you use it with precaution? The goal is not trying to stop social media use, but it's to use it, have a healthy relationship with your phone, have a healthy relationship with your gadgets, so that you're able to avoid some of the dangers that may come without you knowing. Yeah.
So I understand.
Mm.
You got inspired. I saw like part of the portions that you talked about.
Mm.
You went with students on some trip, and
Mm.
everyone was concentrating on their phones.
Mm.
Nobody cared about each other.
Yeah.
All those stuff. Like what really needs to be done to, like, somebody who is watching, like the young people who are watching, maybe older people. I've also realized that, in the research that's been happening around the world,
Mm.
the young people that are using phones,
Mm.
maybe many of them are using their parents' phone, because usually parents, when they get home, they give the children phones, or they just say, I want to do some stuff, like I want to do some mathematical stuff, and then they end up going to, all those social TikTok. That's where everyone runs.
Yeah,
Like,
like actually, even when I come to your question that you've just asked, I'll still start from where you ended. Do you know that I'm a counselor, so I talk to a lot of young people, and one of the young people told me that, you know what, uh, we when I go home, I use Snapchat, and the reason I use Snapchat is because my parents only know or think about three social media platforms. They think about TikTok, YouTube, no, TikTok, Facebook, and WhatsApp. Because with YouTube, yes, you can check the search history, but someone can
delete.
yeah, but then the parents have been trying to look at these ones. They don't know that people are on Snapchat and the world is happening there. But you asked, you gave an example of the story I put in the book about a trip I went on with my students, and then I was watching their reaction and how they were doing things as we went to the trip, and I discovered that the whole bus was very quiet. And I'm like, wow, what's happening? So I look around and everyone is on their phone. They're glued to their screens with headphones or without, but everyone is on their phone and they are very, very serious about it. Until we go to the place, they tour the place and later got back on their phones and back home. And I was wondering, while I was growing up, we went to buses and we're singing songs. Driver Yongeza Moliro, which is literally translated as driver drive it fast. We used
It's
to,
more fun
yeah,
when it's faster.
yeah, we used to sing as students, and then we tell the driver, if you can't speed up, then give it to me. Those are the songs we used to sing, share stories, and then create memories together. And by the way, psychologically, the best memories or the most sticking memories you will ever have in life, the most treasured memories, are developed and um, put together while you're still in the teenage age. That's why the music you like is the music you like so much in the teenage age. That's why our parents will tell you, this is not music. Look at the oldies. We had real music. People are not singing. It's because it's their childhood music and it's what has stuck. And so they will always go for all these nights. They won't come to this whatever kind of music. They have that thing that stuck. So even young people, they are making meaningful relationships while they grow. So you asked me, what's the problem and what needs to be done? The issue is that the problem starts from childhood. As you said earlier, that the parents are the ones giving their children phones or gadgets. Let's call them gadgets. And this doesn't start when the children are asking for that. It actually starts when they are infants. Like a child cries and a parent feels like, I need to make them keep quiet or I need to occupy them. And so, because mommy wants to concentrate on something they are doing, they'll give them a gadget. Not to make them get spoiled or what. The intention is not that these children get into these situations. The intention is to distract them a little bit so that mommy can concentrate on a chore what she's doing, washing dishes or whatever. Or even distract them so that they can also keep on another gadget. Because mommy can give, like I saw another lady, she had a child, gave the child a phone, and she also had hers. So that the child does not disturb. And the problem is, UNICEF has come up with research and it proves that children between the age of 0 and the age of 2 shouldn't be allowed to use gadgets at all. But for us, without knowing, we are giving them the gadgets, not to spoil them, but to occupy them so that we are free to do
They can
other
let
things.
us, do all that we need.
Yes.
Like it's kind of like something. It reminds me of something we used to have back in the day, like a necessary evil.
Yes. So you like you get, and as you said, it's looking like a necessary evil. And most of the parents, actually, even as I talk about these things, are going to feel pressured to be the only ones not doing what the rest are doing. And that's where the problem comes from. The problem is that we fear not being the same as others. We fear being different. So you know that all your peers, all your colleagues are giving their kids phones and gadgets. So you feel like I cannot be the only white elephant among black ones. So you like I just can't keep my kids off social media while the rest of the parents are giving them social media. So going back to what I was telling you is the children between the age of 0 to 2 years are not supposed to watch screens. It's dangerous to their cognitive development. It's dangerous. When children do watch screens, they are not learning. They are not being empathetic. Empathy is one of the biggest characteristics that human beings should have to help you maneuver in life. Make meaning of your own world, but also understand people's other
And that's
perceptions.
developed at a very young age.
Absolutely. Between the age of 0 and 2, they are developing empathy. How do you develop empathy? You develop empathy by being able to read facial expressions, by being able to read facial cues. I'm also a teacher of psychology. I'm teaching Cambridge psychology, and there is one of the theories that talks about the ability to read non-verbal cues, read faces, is what helps you develop what we call a theory of mind. That you're able to look at Mwonge and see the world in his perspective, not in only your perspective. Because if you're not able to see the world in other people's perspective, then you are not going to be accountable. You want to do things the way you want. You're not going to understand that certain things you have to wait before they come. So you find that it's the same thing that is bringing issues you're hearing in Uganda now, that a child asks for pocket money of 1 million, they give them 500,000 and they commit suicide. You see, they've not been able to grow and develop that empathy, the understanding, the self-control.
Yeah.
Because if a child makes 2 to 4 years, the optimum time they should spend with social media or gadgets is 1 hour a day, or if it must be a lot, 2 hours, and that's good enough for them. And for us, what we are doing is we are giving them gadgets to occupy them all the time. So they're in a world of their own, which is an online world. It's a world on its own. And this is how people are living. But the problem about this world is that it doesn't have a president, it doesn't have a constitution, it doesn't have a police. Police is weak. The people supposed to be the police on social media, the very ones benefiting from it. So they're actually helping whatever is happening, because for them, what they are thinking about is to make money. So you are a psychologist and you can agree with me that research has it that actually a certain level of boredom is good for a child's psychological development.
Yes.
When a child is able to cope with frustration, they develop a very important virtue in life, which is self-control. Because self-control is the one that is going to help you operate at a super ego level rather than an id level.
Yes.
Like for the people watching us, in psychology, there is what we call the id, which is that part of a human being that says here and now, I want it here and now. It operates in the children mostly when they've just been born. They want it here and now. If they want to take milk, it's here and now. And so even when you tell them, let me cool it a little bit before you take, they will cry. And if you give it to them, they'll take it and it will burn them.
Yeah.
Because there is here and now. If it's excreting, they'll do it in their clothes, they'll do it anywhere. They will not think about it. Everything of them is here and now. Then there is the super ego, which is the extreme, where you know that, okay, this is what I want, but this is not the time for me to get it. There is a time for it. You delay gratification until the right time and the right place with the right person, and you do it that way. So all these things, our children are missing them. And one of the biggest contributors is this social media that is actually forming an altogether new world of people that have been very, very overprotected in the real world and underprotected online. And then even when they come to the real world, they are struggling to be social. They are struggling to maintain relationship.
Because the phone is kind of like they give them a life of pretense. It's not real
It's a
life
virtual world.
on the phone.
Absolutely.
So they feel when they get in real contact with the social community, they fail to totally like catch up with stuff.
Yes.
And that's why many of them we've seen some like elder people acting on the id level.
Yeah.
Yet they're supposed to act on the super
ego.
super ego.
Yes. Yeah, and that's where the problem is. That's why we should be worried. The level of suicidal tendencies have significantly gone high. Have you ever wondered why the most entertained generation of the history of this world is actually the most depressed generation in the history of the world?
Why do you say so?
Look at statistics. If you look at entertainment today and entertainment in the time of your great grandfather, where was entertainment too much? Here you can get entertainment anywhere, anytime.
The other days it was kind of planned.
Yeah, and
now anytime, whether
anywhere,
you're
anytime,
you're not ready.
and actually in many forms, variety. The world has become a global village. You can be here and see things in America in real time. Actually participate. The only difference is that you won't be there physically. That's the thing. But the most entertained generation is the most depressed generation. the most informed generation is the most ignorant generation. People are
Does that lead to there's a portion in this book where you talked about like we have a lot of information, but we are starving
for
for
wisdom.
wisdom.
Yeah,
What does that mean to somebody who is watching, this video?
there's a lot of information on social media, but people are not able to emulate that very information in the real life. So wisdom is application of knowledge. If there is knowledge, if you know something but you can't apply it, you lack wisdom. But you may have the knowledge. And that's what the results are showing us. Look at these statistics still with brain scans and research done in America shows that the young people of today learning, their ability to learn has decreased by 9 seconds. It's not the ability, it's not the brain that has depreciated. The gray matter hasn't gone less, but the ability to learn has depreciated.
Because of social media and technology, they ignore learning from the people that have been.
People are not putting their brains to enough use, enough task to use. You see, God created you and put you in a society so it wasn't by mistake. There is a problem that we are going to make in this new world is to think that whatever God has made was a mistake and we are trying to reinvent the wheel on which we are turning. I read from a book, Murder in a Cathedral, while I was doing literature in high school by Thomas Becket, and he said, rather T.S. Eliot, and he said, it is only a fool that thinks he can turn a wheel on which he turns. So there are certain things that we are reinventing, but not looking at whether it's the default of the make of the world or not. And because they are interesting, we are just following them and thinking, okay, we'll have fun. But God created your brain to grow and adapt to the social world, which is the physical world, where you play with me. I play with you, and my brain is able to develop, and I become a better person. Now, social media has gone against that. Actually, social psychologist Jonathan Haidt, one of the people that have done a lot of work in this field regarding social media use and young people, he wrote the book, The Anxious Generation. I recommend it to the viewers out there. He said that around 2010 to 2015, the world flipped and shifted from a play-based childhood to a phone-based childhood. What does that mean? That children stopped spending time out there playing with one another, doing a lot of things with one another, and they now started spending a lot of time on their own behind screens. And that's a danger.
Yes.
And that's not something we need to take for granted, because I told you your brain thrives and grows in the outside world where you're playing with people, you're having fun with people, you're able to handle the stress. Because when you share your stress with another person, a problem shared is a problem half solved. You'll be able to actually become better. Now, what social media does, when someone has a problem, when they get a problem situation, they run off to social media, not to deal with it, to postpone it, or to run away from it, or actually to escalate it. So social media became like a catalyst to people's stress, and depression came in. And actually, this problem became much bigger during the COVID-19 lockdown, when the world, when the world went into a total lockdown. You remember it was in December that that virus was discovered in China, and then later in January it was confirmed, and then by March 2020 the world was in a lockdown. Uganda was in a lockdown. You remember by 2 p.m. we had to be in the house. And so, because human beings are social, they had to invent other ways of keeping the humanness. And so they had to be in their houses and be creative, not to, because the moment human beings stop being social, they can die from not being social. Yeah, if you're not social as a human being, it can lead to your death.
Yeah, many have
We
died
thrive,
because of that.
yeah, we thrive in social environments. So they started watching TV and being on gadgets and doing a lot of content. That's how TikTok took off and blew the ceiling, and it has not gone back again, and all that. So all that is working. People are glued on their phones. Remember, I told you that social media is designed to make you glued on it, that you will not leave. The more you use it, the more people are making money. But you might have effects on it. Save people that are using social media helpfully and responsibly to do business, to communicate. It's a good thing to communicate with people. I have a brother who is out of the country. The only way I can communicate with him is through social media. And so that's where the problem now started from, that we are having young people that actually don't know what it means to go out there and talk to someone about an issue. They will go on social media and tell a stranger about an issue, and later they will be manipulated, because sometimes they are talking to people, they are trusting people online more than they're even trusting people in the house. A child will talk to a stranger they've never met on social media and look for a solution when their parents are in the house. Yeah. Yesterday I was somewhere with two men. They didn't know me, but one of them was actually was celebrating that he got a girl on social media in Saudi Arabia who bought him a phone, but they have never met, and bought him a very expensive phone, and he was telling his friend that actually we can make a fortune on social media.
Really?
Just look for the girls who have gone out of Uganda to make money in Saudi Arabia, Asia, and you'll be rich. Let's just go to hotels and set up and be somewhere, be away from your wife, and let's make money. And so,
So that's something we're gonna talk about a little bit later. But for now, like, can I raise can I raise a good child through this chaotic, social media stuff?
yes,
Tell us how can someone through all of these?
first and foremost, we have to admit there is a problem. We have to admit we have not protected our children online, but we are protecting them too much in the real world. Let's embrace a play-based childhood. Let the children go out there and play with other children, because by that they are learning social skills. And when you learn social skills, you're able to maneuver through life. You won't just face an issue one day and you feel like you want to commit suicide, because you're not used to that. In the social media world, you're the one in control. You hire and fire. You delete.
Yeah,
You block. you do whatever you are the boss. But in the real world, things don't work that way. In the real world, there is hierarchy. You are not the boss. So children need to grow understanding what the real world is like. And when they grow, as I told you, their brains, when they play their brains, the brain is a muscle. So it grows while it's being used outside in interactions. So the child grows, they are more healthier, they are able to handle stress a little bit more. Even the world itself, nature, Mother Nature can take away stress.
So does that mean we have to learn to restrict
Yes,
our phones? How can a parent, try to bring up because that's parents have neglected this whole idea. They have let their children have the phones and everything is just free. Now, having read about this book and the encouragement that you're giving to all the parents, like how can they start to do this practically?
um, Western countries is where social media started from, are actually reviewing the policies of engagement with gadgets. Countries like Australia have already passed a bill which is about to be put into effect, where uh, children below the age of 16 actually are not allowed on social media. France has also passed something close to that, and I was shocked that here in Uganda, actually, Parliament was almost saying that let children go with phones to school. I'm like, what? Are we learning anything from this? So the thing is, the world has changed. It's almost looking like impossible to bring things back, but doesn't change the fact that we need to do the right thing. Let children below the age of 16 have limited access to gadgets. Yeah, let them have limited access to gadgets. Like I told you, 0 to 2 years, no
No
screens.
phone.
Yeah, no screens. Not even
I
just TV.
actually, like at home, I even want like 0 to 4. If you can, 0 to 4.
Yeah, okay, 2 to 4, because you want them to learn, you want them to catch up with the world. They are going to school. Let them have 1 hour.
1 hour.
Yeah, 1 hour, 2 to 4.
At most,
Yeah, at most 1 hour.
2 to 4.
Yeah, 2 to 4. Let them interact with it 1 hour. And when they keep growing, yes, the time may increase, but make sure that even when they go to the age of 16, they're not using social media for more than 4 hours a day. And that must be intentional.
Even during holidays, when
Yes,
there's plenty of time,
yes, and I know that,
it's so tempting.
yeah, most of them are even using them as gadgets to learn from. Like schools are using this as we are teaching online and all that. I know all those are requirements, but there must be a way to tame this. And then, so let them have a lot of social interaction. Let them go out and visit friends. Let them go and play. Take them to field events. Take them for road trips. Let them do things and engage with other people. That is to the side of young people. Yeah, and for us adults, of course, the thing has not been a very big problem compared to the teenagers. It's affecting the teenagers more. But of course, we also need to put up a mechanism of trying to see that we control social media
I
use.
saw, by the way, you talked about a few highlights on how, an addicted person, like I know you said you've been addicted at some point,
Yes.
and I myself too in Corona time, even sometimes in my adult life. So, like, can you just list ways how can somebody as an adult, you have a phone, it's your phone, you've been doing this, like you realize you've wasted plenty of your time that you would have, done a lot more good stuff, but you're always on the phone. Like you try and say, I'm gonna be there for 10 minutes, watch this little video. I'm just gonna watch an update for maybe for me, I follow a young man called Mwesigwa. He has those funny, dramas. So you say, I'm gonna go watch one skit from Mwesigwa, and then that's all. But then as you finish, you just scroll once before you go off, and then you find something really interesting and continue. Like,
Yeah, there are many practical steps. I think they vary from one person to another. But if I'll give my personal example, I have decided to use social media at different spots at a given time. I mostly use it for work when I'm doing my journalism work or when I'm meeting my students and all that. I have set times, and actually, James Clear in Atomic Habits has very, very good insights of developing healthy habits. So I'll highly recommend our viewers still to check out the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. And you, like me, to cut the social media addiction, I put conditions. I don't use social media until I've finished doing certain things. And so I have set my goals for the day. I have set my targets and I want to go through them before I go to social media. I have set episodes and I must cultivate a discipline of using social media. Of course, I haven't been perfect following it to the dot, but the progress is there. The aim is not for you to be the 100% guy who never falls back again with social media struggles, but it's for you to win the majority of the vote. That's what James Clear says, that you see with habits, it's not about you completely managing it 100%, but it's about you managing it with the majority. And so you start slowly by slowly. Maybe when we get another opportunity, I would love to delve a little bit into that. First of all, take you through how you can test to see if you are addicted to social media, and then what after knowing that you are addicted to social media, what can you do? Practical steps that you can do to be able to overcome this challenge.
And I know we have a couple of them in this book.
Yes.
And I think obviously just people looking up this book will be of great help.
Yes.
There are great insights here. You kind of talked about like people who stay online a lot, they have suicidal tendencies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why do you think so?
As I told you earlier, that social media is, as most of the times, looked at as a refuge. People run away from certain stressors of life to just chill on social media. But what they find there, by the way, most of the times is not what they're expecting. And so it actually depresses them even the more. Social media is a highlight reel. You're comparing your behind the scenes to someone's best highlight of life. So Augustine will go on social media and want to put the best shot if it's a photo.
I know.
You will take 100 photos to post one.
One.
Delete the 99 and
I
find
did
the best
that
shot.
even yesterday. I did that.
Yeah, but someone out there who is watching your social media account will not necessarily think that is what it took you. They will just look at
The perfect Muonge,
yeah,
like
and
this guy is perfect.
yeah, and he'll be discouraged. He will judge himself. He will look at himself as not sufficient, and by that, it's already having an effect on their mind. And some of the things, by the way, that maybe if we have time we'll talk about in future, is that social media brings what we can facilitate or escalate what we call a post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. There is what we call vicarious trauma or secondary trauma. Secondary trauma is when you watch a video of someone being, for example, beaten, but you're not in position to help. For example, a child being battered, but you're not in position to help.
And you feel like
Yeah.
I just want to
I wish
squeeze that
Yeah,
person, whoever is
yeah.
torturing the kid.
But you can't. It causes PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. It makes you so traumatized, secondary trauma. It comes to you. And people don't know this. People don't know this.
They keep watching.
They keep watching.
And sending stuff.
Yeah, forwarding to even other people. And all those are effects. And there is also such an effect, like I was telling you, that these screens actually, they have what we call blue light. Blue light fools your brain to think that it's day when it's night, especially people watching screens before they sleep. It affects them. When you're going to sleep, when it comes to evening time, you will not have to watch a screen towards bedtime. You wind down with reading a book like Connected but Alone, a physical copy, not using a digital one from a phone or wherever. You see, your brain is funny. Your brain does not differentiate what is vividly imagined and what is reality. It cannot. Whatever comes to it, it takes it as real. So whatever you feed your brain, whether it's from social media or whatever you're watching and looking at, is informing the brain that it's true. But unfortunately, social media has become a hub for spreading fake news, and now the arrival of AI has even made it more complicated because AI can literally do anything
you think about.
Exactly. So those are some of the things I think we need to be taking precaution about, and they are the ones that make social media even a more susceptible arena where someone's mental health issues are going to be escalated. If you're going through a depression, if you're going through anxiety, you want to watch videos like TikTok has algorithms. Of course, all these other social media handles have algorithms. That's the computers, the robots that are able to give you they give you your own kind of test.
Yeah. It's
personalized feed.
man.
They give you what you want to watch. They learn machine learning. When you swipe two videos, the third, the algorithm is able to tell what exactly you're interested in, and it will keep giving you that. Now, if a person is going through depression, their brains are not able to cope with trauma, so they are looking for incidents of trying to survive. They're in survival mode. They are not inclined. If you're traumatized, you won't need someone to just come and make noise so that you get better. You might want spaces where you are alone by
Calm,
yourself.
and
Exactly.
maybe somebody just listening to
Yeah.
you. And yet when they go on social media, that's the opposite
Yeah,
of
and
what the algorithm gives them.
yeah, and now they are watching videos sometimes that are still escalating the issue, the trauma that they are going through. Watching people committing suicide and all that, and it's making their own trauma even more complicated. And before you know it, people have watched things on social media and ended up actually committing suicide themselves. And
I
so
see.
it escalates a lot in that sense.
Yeah, thank you in that regard. Now, connected but
Alone.
alone. Connected but like I want, what is the opposite of this? What is the, like, in this topic, what do we want to make out of this? This is connected but alone. It's a negative thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
What do we want to make out of this? Connected but what? Hmm? We want this person to be connected and feel what? Like they are with somebody.
Yeah, this now the connected but alone we are talking about here is being connected online. Many people are online, they are connected. If you see there is a battery, a phone battery showing that it's low, and this person is already on social media, but the charger is not plugged in. So they are looking connected, but they are lonely. They are like, you can have many friends, 10,000 followers, but you're dying with depression.
So that means, like, people seem like to
Like
be
everything is
connected.
okay.
Everything is okay, even in their mind. Like they have fed in their minds that things are okay. I
But
have,
but
like,
behind the scenes,
I have 2,000 followers
yeah,
on TikTok and YouTube, and they give me
that's what
likes.
people see.
Yeah,
But this person is empty, deep inside.
empty.
Yeah, they're empty. Like we've heard about something Michael Jackson went through before in his life. You might think he was the most connected person, but yet the doctors, his doctors are actually saying he had a depression. He died of depression. So he was connected. He had many people around the world who knew him, and they cheered him everywhere he went. But he was alone.
He was
He
alone.
was alone in his heart. He was living by himself. He needed help.
So let's say this person is watching this video, and I hope they'll just come and get a copy. They have to go through all the steps in this book to really find a way how to, get back. They have to get back into the normal,
Yeah,
the older
healthy
ways
social media use.
of connecting with people,
Yeah,
and then have some time
on social
on
media,
social
because we
media, like,
can't do away with it. Yeah, we can't do away with it. It's a reality that is not going to go back, but it can get worse if at all it's not used in a healthy way. So we want to develop a healthy social media use.
yeah,
So are you able to balance both your life on and offline?
yeah.
We're not saying that spend life offline alone and then not go online, because the world has gone online. We must be there. Business is happening online. People are making a lot of money online. Content creators are making a lot of money online. And all that is good.
That's what brings me to the last portion of this interview. Like, even at home, like, we tell people not to spend so much time online and all of that. You've seen my posts
Yeah.
in that book that I'm working on, Dreams from My Father, God. Like, my whole everything that you see started through on social media and all of these. Like, do you have an idea that you think, like, people who have been misusing, maybe not misusing, but spending a lot of time swiping on TikTok, on YouTube, or any other social platform, ways they can change that into trying to, get money from that, or sell themselves in a good way other than being in addiction?
Yeah, this is a long thing. It might need us to actually have a session and talk about how to deal with social media addiction. I love books, and I'll always recommend some books. There is a book by Catherine Price. It's called How to Divorce with Your Phone.
Divorce.
Yeah.
Or how to separate with your phone.
Know how to divorce with
Divorce
your
is kind of like go away and never come back.
Yes, how to separate with your phone.
Maybe.
Yeah. And so this is a process. It comes gradually, and then you get in control. Uh, you get in control of the activity over time. So first, you need to understand that you're addicted, because most of the people that are addicted to social media don't even know that they are. They don't even accept that they are. So you need to first understand that. Then secondly, determine that you need to change that, because if you're not ready, if you've not determined that you need to change, nothing will change. So it comes from the will. But willpower alone is not enough. Willpower gets you to a certain place and it ends there. So how to form habits is not by willpower alone, because when you fail a certain day, you feel like you're in a maze, you can't get out of it. So most of the times is, habits may not easily get done with completely in your life. They are replaced.
And even if you want to learn new great habits, they won't come easily. It's just vice versa.
Yeah. So these habits won't come easily, but you have to celebrate small wins. Like for me, I can spend 5 hours off social media completely. My friends are actually wondering. Even if you look today, you might have texted me on social media and I wasn't on.
Yeah.
Actually, I saw a missed call on WhatsApp, and I was not on. My phone was there. I was doing other things, and it's a purpose. It's a purposeful
And it is
thing.
something that you embarked on and you try to work on it, and now you're getting more better.
Yeah, I'm getting better and actually more comfortable. Previously, I would really feel bad. So the whole thing is, for you to get rid of a habit you're having today, you must replace it with another habit. Habits never die completely. You replace them. When you replace it with another habit, then that habit dies. Humanly, there is a craving that is inside you.
That never goes away.
Yeah, you must feed that craving with something. And if that craving is not substituted with something in there, you'll keep going on to something that is unhealthy. So most of the times, for example, if people are addicted to a substance, for example, alcohol, we make sure that they replace the habits. What the cues, the things that have been triggering that habit, they replace it with another habit so that they quit this habit. So social media is the same. You might have to replace that social media time with some other constructive things so that you don't keep online all the time. And it gets better with time. Sometimes you can fall back, you relapse. It's okay. It's part of the process. You cannot just come up one day and you say, hey, I've overcome social media, now it's gone. But you start replacing with habits. Like me in the morning, like for example, I wake up, I want to read a physical book, hard copy. I want to do certain things without touching a gadget. And then I touch a gadget and still I'm offline. I'm doing other work offline, because I know when I get offline, it might be an explosion. And when I get offline, I'm checking particular sites. Sometimes you might have to delete certain apps from your phone. Yeah, it's said that every single day, a person goes through about 6 apps on average. 6 apps in one single day. You're already using TikTok, WhatsApp, X, Instagram, Snapchat, and many. 6. And now, out of the world's population, which is about 8 point something billion, 4.9 billion, which is 58.9% of people are on social media, are using gadgets. They are on the internet. And so the thing is growing at a very fast rate. And now in Uganda, of course, from our population of 45.9 million people, 50% of our population are people are people born after 2008. They are teenagers. Yeah, after 2008, that's 50% of our population. So in Uganda, we should actually be very intentional about what social media can do to our young people. We always didn't hear a lot of things. I know, of course, we have an international
And
audience
phones are
watching us.
cheaper these days.
Yeah, yeah,
You can go and get a loan phone. You
yeah,
can get as many as
yeah,
possible. Like things are becoming more wild
yeah,
and
which is
easy.
okay. Let's be connected, but let's not be alone. Let's be connected in a healthy way.
So the thing is, let's balance social media.
Yes,
And then, like you talked about somewhere where people like, it is hard for them to connect to the like a normal human. And it's escalating everywhere
yeah,
you go, but we can get back, we can try to pull ourselves back and
yeah,
try to try slowly and learn how to interact with people,
yeah,
like people like David and I who were born in late 80s, man. Like yeah, we are connected more. The
yes,
phones have just come as we
yeah,
see, and
yeah,
so, but for the new generation, they really have to try so much, like with the help of us
yes,
and with the help of a parent. And if you're there as a parent, make sure you help your child. These phones, the craving is a lot, and these young people won't handle unless we support them. We will send them these videos. We will give them read this book. They will not, but we have to.
yeah, we have to help them. And I'm saying to our parents out there, you might be already crazy in your mind, thinking how you've tried to control phone use and children are not, um, responding. You can seek support. You can seek support, professional help, counselors. You can talk to a counselor. You can actually contact Counselor Muonge. I am available through him. You can get to me and we see how best to help these young people get through this time. You see, this is a very critical time for young people. Actually, maybe one time we'll come back here and I talk
Yeah,
to parents
yeah,
about brain development
yeah.
in teenagers and how it affects or influences their behavior. You see, when a teenager is growing, their the part that is responsible for logic, for reasoning, for making executive decisions, which is called the prefrontal cortex, that one which makes executive logical decisions, evaluative decisions, is not fully developed, and so they are likely to make impulsive decisions. They will act before they think. They think after they've acted, and it's normal when they are growing, but it doesn't mean that they will not have boundaries. There are healthy ways we can set boundaries and help our teenagers grow, because that's what I'm doing all the time in schools. I'm helping young people. I'm working with parents and families. I have a family systems trauma counseling uh, therapy that I got from Dr. Scott Sales. Is still alive and doing a lot of work in counseling, and it's helping. So to parents out there, we are all in a journey. This is something we are learning, something new. The issue about social media is that all some of the things we are actually yet to understand how much they'll affect us. Like, even as AI has come in and people are making robots, we don't know how the world is going to look like in the next 15, 20 years. Because now in China, I saw about 2 weeks ago or three, robots participated for the very first time in a marathon, and it's now a technological battle that is happening in the world between the superpowers, and all these are areas of concern. We don't want to be pessimists, but we always have to evaluate things. I'm very optimistic about technology, and it's going to make life even much better, but technology should be added to our lives, not to replace our lives. No, it shouldn't replace our lives. Should add it to our lives to make life easier and simpler for us, but shouldn't.
We should not like depend so
No,
much, like
no.
100% on like people who you say like they buy stuff of 2000 and then 1.5 and they are rushing looking for where's the calculator.
Yes,
And
yes.
man, it's easy. You just use your head with 5.
Yeah,
So
Yeah, but
people are, they want to be
learning,
paid
yeah, learning where
100%.
some are gone low. And
Yeah.
we need to get this thing. It's not that the kids of these days are becoming dumber. They are more dumb. No, they are not, if there is such a word like dumber. But then the the fact that some of these things are coming is actually blocking their ability to learn and ability to do certain things. And this is what we want to help them with. That technology should make their lives better, not actually destroy them without them knowing. And this is it. This is what I am dedicated to doing. I'm dedicated to helping people, young people especially, develop a healthy life so that they can be effective. In Uganda, the most effective age is when we are youth.
Yeah.
But the youth are spending a lot of time on social media doing nothing. Propaganda. Now we are going into a political era. Parents are very worried.
Yeah.
Every day they are arresting young people misusing computers, and there is a Computer Misuse Act in Uganda. And most of the people who are using these gadgets actually don't even know what is written in there, and they think just because you have a keyboard you have a right to do whatever you say. I understand one of the presidents in Uganda said there is freedom of speech, but there might not be freedom after speech. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah. I
in
just
the,
know
be-
what happens
yeah,
after you
after
speak.
you speak you may not be much in control,
Yeah.
but before you speak you have the freedom. So this is not all to threaten people. I'm not a politician, but of course we have to warn young people out there. We are going into a political time. It is a season that comes and goes. What you need in the world is peace. You need a world that has peace. You need a world that enables you work with reasonable taxes and low levels of corruption so that you can thrive in that world. You won't have a government that is going to put money in your pocket. You must work. Changing governments doesn't replace the fact that you must work. So it's important that we take our leaders accountable. Go and vote for your MP. Vote out that one who has been corrupt and put in the one that you think won't be corrupt. That's your civic responsibility. But let's desist from harmful propaganda, from fake news, from hate speech. A full country like Rwanda went into a genocide through hate speech.
Yeah.
Yeah, people went on media by then, mainstream media, and spoke certain things. Of course, it was sparked by death of our president somewhere, but then it's still the same thing. It was escalated by what people said and did on media. So media is a very powerful tool. It's a double-edged sword. It can cut the other side, but it may cut you if you're not careful. Yeah, so that's the thing I am very, very, very excited to talk about any other time we're here.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Brother David Mwesigwa, for coming up with this copy, Connected but Alone,
Alone.
uncovering the hidden dangers of social
Media.
media and on mental health.
Yes.
And I hope that all of you who are following, the parents and the young people who are watching from around the world, and my friends who are watching from Saudi Arabia, those who are always commenting on the videos. This video will help you so much. Just watch it and advise and mentor your children, your family members accordingly as you understand what comes out of this book. So, how can people and where, how much is this copy and where can we get this copy? Are they really like somewhere in the book
Yeah,
store?
well, um, you can get that book by uh, at Worship Harvest Nalia. You can get it. That's in Kampala. You can get it also here at OPFM in Jinja at Oboja Road. But all the same, I've had deliveries made to the US, and it's through contacting me personally. You can write to me on davymwesigwa@gmail.com. That is DAVY Mwesigwa@gmail.com. We can connect through that, and you will be in position to actually get this book wherever you are. Make deliveries actually.
And your social media handle, the universal one, the one that can accommodate like 10,000 followers.
Yeah, I have a social media page.
Mm.
That's still you go to David Mwesigwa. But I have another one that I'm building, which is for counseling purposes. It's called Talk to the Counselor, and that has a Facebook and a WhatsApp group where we are talking mental health, because it's a real thing, not just on social media, but even other aspects. Yeah, so still when you write to me on the email, on that email, you'll be in position to catch me on other social media platforms.
Thank you, man. We will come back. We have a lot of things to talk about,
Yes.
and even in the line more practical counseling, we'll talk about that. And today
Yeah.
we were just focused more on this book.
Actually, I didn't tell you how social media addiction happens, so I'll need to come back and share with people how you get addicted. How does it happen? What is happening to your brain? They need to know that.
Yeah. We're writing them down, and we pray that we'll have the time to do this.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. Love you guys. If you're following for the first time, please subscribe. As you know, they were talking about the algorithm. So when you subscribe and comment, it gives me great vibes, and it will push the video to all the people. People all around the world need to hear all about this.
Yes.
See you. God bless you. Thank you so much.